Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another episode of Money Match, where we play classic arcade games and determine how much money it takes to defeat them. Tonight, we put on our spandex and boots as we step into the ring to play the arcade classic WWF WrestleFest by Technos Japan. WWF WrestleFest was released in June of 1991 and was the sequel to 1989's WWF Superstars. WrestleFest features two modes: Saturday Night's Main Event mode, which is a tag team ladder, where you face the entire roster in tag team action before facing the Road Warriors at the end of the campaign for the tag team championships. The second mode is the Royal Rumble, where you're in a battle royal and the goal is to be the last person standing in the ring. The game features 10 playable characters: Hulk Hogan, Jake Roberts, Mr. Perfect, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, Earthquake, Big Boss Man, Sergeant Slaughter, Ultimate Warrior, Crush and Smash the Tag Team Demolition, and there's the Legion of Doom, who are the Tag Team Champions and final bosses, who are only selectable via a cheat device, the MAME emulation. Each wrestler has their own signature moves that you saw on television at the time. I know there's going to be somebody that's going to say, "Oh my god, wrestling is so fake, bro." First of all, predetermined. Second, everything else you consume on television or your subscription service of choice is fake, but you never see anyone crap on those mediums in such a fashion now, do you? No! And also, tell that to Mick Foley, who got thrown off a cage on live television.
It doesn't matter what you think!
You say wrestling is fake? Tell that to the families of Owen Hart, Brian Ong, Mitsuharu Misawa, and Perro Aguayo, who have all passed away in front of fans and peers. Tell me how far that gets you. So with that said,
It's time!
you know what's not predetermined? How many quarters I spent on this game. Since there are two modes, Royal Rumble and Saturday Night's Main Event, we'll be covering how much it takes to defeat them both. Then we'll add up how much it takes to defeat the game overall. Time to ring the bell. We will cover the Royal Rumble first. Since there are only 12 characters on the roster, the goal here for the Royal Rumble match is making it from beginning to end without getting eliminated. However, there is a catch. The Royal Rumble, unlike real life, starts off with 6 wrestlers in the ring at once as opposed to 2. Also, you can eliminate someone by pinfall, submission, or throwing them over the top rope with both feet touching the floor. In real life, pinfalls or submissions were never in the rules for the contest. Someone didn't tell Randy Savage in 1993. Right? R.I.P. So, Macho Man and Yokozuna. With that said, let's begin. I use Jake Roberts for this match because it always feels good giving someone his patented DDT. Remember when that move used to beat people? I do. God, I'm getting old. I'm gonna have to say here that surviving the Royal Rumble is a very easy experience. I know in 1991 those who had played this game as it was released were probably just mashing buttons and seeing what moves came out from their wrestler choice. I'm pleased to say that this game is pretty easy to pick up and play, especially when it comes to grappling. There's an 8-way joystick, a punch, and a kick button. For grapples, just press punch in whatever direction you like, and for throwing opponents against the ropes, you just use left or right and kick. Now, finishing moves depend on which wrestler you use. Back to the Royal Rumble, I had little to no trouble completing this. The problem is to maintain health and stay as far from the ropes as possible. You gain health by putting more money into the machine. Yeah, that's very smart. Very smart, devs. No button mashing needed. This was the perfect example of pay to win, and people want to complain about microtransactions now? With that said, I outlasted the 11 competitors, and I'm announced as the winner of the match. Pretty easy once you know what you're doing. The bad news is, the real challenge is that tag ladder. Next is Saturday Night's Main Event mode, where we face the roster of the game in tag team action until we face Hawk and Animal of the Legion of Doom. I used Mr. Perfect and the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase for this mode. I call this team Perfect Money. I'm baffled that the Macho Man Randy Savage is not in the game, as well as The Undertaker, as they were both on the roster at that time. This mode is much harder, as each match you win, you only regain health by putting more money into the machine. You win 4 matches, face the champions. Unless you miss the dip switches, where you can shorten or lengthen that. Going through the tag ladder isn't too hard until I face the champions. Then from there, this game becomes much harder. Hawk and Animal are damage sponges, tanking every one of my moves. They also pack a hell of a punch too, as you're going to be spending more money to stay in the match and win. Once I defeated the Road Warriors, my team becomes the Tag Team Champions of the World.
But wait! There's more! I'm afraid I've got some bad news!
You have to defend the Tag Team Championships against the exact same teams. The game is slightly harder for you, but if you gotten to this point, you should be fine. Once you defend the championships against the roster, the former champions Hawk and Animal will want a rematch. Yes, they're just as tanky as before. Prepare to lose money here, like I did going through this. I beat them again. Roll credits. Game over. In conclusion, WrestleFest is a fun experience whether you're playing alone or with friends. However, this game is an endurance test. Let's tally up how much money it takes to defeat this game. The Royal Rumble only took me $1 to defeat. Saturday Night's Main Event mode took $6.25, which leads to the final amount to be $7.25, which is $17.24 in today's money, according to the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics. WrestleFest is a very pricey experience if you want to fully experience the game. The Tag Ladder is a money sucker, while the Royal Rumble is a more fun experience for 4 players. I give the Rumble difficulty from about a 5 out of 10, and the Tag Ladder about a 7 out of 10. It's not bad, it's just once you get to the Road Warriors, prepare to lose a good chunk of your change. Next time on Money Match, we will cover possibly the greatest arcade game of all time, Street Fighter 2. And it's not a fun experience to say the least. Prepare for my suffering. Anyway, this is True Individual signing off, saying, good fight, good night. Thanks for watching.